All right, so we are a week away from Crown Jewel 2024 so that the Saudis can have their own championship belt.
Yeah, belts. Because there's the women's belt, too.
Right. God damn it.
So Lance, you may not remember this or know about this.
Yeah.
But during the Greatest Royal Rumble, which is when they had, instead of 30 people, they had 50 people. During the Greatest Royal Rumble, Braun Strowman, who won the match, was presented with a belt for the Greatest Royal Rumble. Okay?
I don't remember
So,
this.
like, I don't know what it is. Why did the Greatest Royal Rumble have to be in Saudi Arabia?
I don't know.
It's kissing ass.
Yeah.
I don't know even the way to say it.
Yeah.
Okay? Why can't they just have, like, regular pay-per-views? Everything's got to be the greatest, or we're going to have like the ultimate champion belt of all time. What do they call this thing? I'm looking it up. For the inaugural WWE Crown Jewel Championship. Okay. 2 world champions. And for the women's Crown Jewel Championship. Okay. So the world title is not good enough. The WWE Championship, the undisputed WWE Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship is not good enough. We have to have a Crown Jewel Championship.
Yeah.
Everything has to be better in Saudi Arabia than with the regular product. Even though, I'm going to go ahead and say it, even though both of those belts are going to be worthless.
Yeah.
Worthless.
Yeah.
Are they going to be defended? Is there going to be any kind of lineage? No. The belts are so worthless that they're going to be worth less than the material that they use to make the belts with.
Yeah.
That's how worthless these belts are going to be. I've talked about it in the past. I don't like it when belts are thrown in the trash and stuff like that. These belts should be thrown in the trash. That's exactly where they should go. They're worthless. They're meaningless. It's just kissing ass.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I have been a little bit more sympathetic towards these Saudi shows than some of my friends have been. Okay, I've said, it's about bringing, I'm like, the fans in Saudi Arabia are just like us. They just like wrestling. Of course, the royal family and all that, and all these people that are sitting in the front row that are like rich and all that don't care about the product, but the fans there, they do. And so they should have wrestling because we have wrestling and everybody should have wrestling. And, it does bridge cultures, and, they are having women's matches over there, which is, kind of pushing the envelope on the culture, and we're spreading Western values to their culture, which is good. I've defended all this crap, okay? And I've had enough. We don't need a Greatest Royal Rumble. We don't need a Crown Jewel Championship. This is garbage. This is absolute garbage. It's just kissing ass, and it's meaningless. Most of these pay-per-views are inconsequential to the wrestling world at large. If you missed them, it doesn't even matter. I think, like, one of the few things I appreciated was Goldberg winning the Universal Championship, even though I didn't like the fact that he defeated The Fiend.
Right.
Having a Jewish wrestler win a championship in Saudi Arabia, to me, was a big deal. That was pushing the envelope of culture, but I'm done with it. This is just garbage. Am I going to watch it? Yes. Unfortunately, I am. Unfortunately, I am.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess these belts are only going to be... Actually, they may not even be defended. I'm just going to guess they're up for grabs at every Crown Jewel.
Probably.
It'll just be the Universal Champion against the World Champion. Right?
Yeah, like how they did in Survivor Series, except for they didn't have like this ridiculous belt.
Yeah.
For a while, but before they had War Games, and after they kind of ditched the traditional Survivor Series matches, they had this thing of like, Raw versus SmackDown, and they would have the Intercontinental Champion against the U.S. Champion.
Yeah.
They would have the Women's Raw Champion against the Women's SmackDown Champion. They'd have the champion of whatever championship belts on Raw that time period would be against the whenever championship is on, Universal versus WWE Champion.
Yeah.
They had these kind of matches, but there wasn't some trinket that they had that you won At the end of the match, I guess. Well, I mean, what does the belt represent? Does it represent like being an undisputed championship of both belts? I mean, what does it represent? It represents nothing. It represents ass kissing.
Right.
That's what it represents.
Right.
And I'm just sick of it. I'm all about the fans over there in Saudi Arabia having wrestling. I think that the people of Saudi Arabia are naturally good people. They're an oppressive government. And that the fans, they care. Like they're just like us, and I have nothing against them. But I'm sick of this Saudi deal. It's a money grab, and it's just I don't know. It's just bad wrestling. It's bad wrestling. And it's a bad angle. It's a bad thing. I mean, it's just bad. Everything about it is just bad. It's tasteless. It's poor. It's just way down with poverty. I mean, it's profane. I mean, it's just terrible. I mean, there's so many words I could use to describe this. It's just bad. It's bad wrestling. I mean, right now, you don't see AEW doing this kind of stuff. They don't go like to some random. I mean, yeah, they love Wembley, but I mean, they don't have.
They don't have a Wembley championship.
They don't have a Wembley championship. Yeah. There's no Wembley Stadium championship. Yeah, Osprey may get a tattoo of like the attendance numbers, which are inaccurate on him.
Yeah,
it's stuck on him for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's not as bad as these championships. Okay, I would get the tattoo before I would get this belt.
Yeah. The whole thing just feels cringy. It feels forced. That this forced a feud between Cody and Gunther.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel natural.
No.
The WWE struck a deal with the Saudis to get them their own belt, which forces Cody into this feud. And Cody could be used elsewhere, and Gunther could be used elsewhere.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Could anything good come out of this?
I'm looking forward to the LA Knight match.
Yeah.
With Andrade and gosh, I'm losing my mind. Andrade and Carmella Hayes. I'm looking forward to that match. The 4-way women's tag match. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's just not a whole lot. There's just not a whole lot I'm looking forward to on this card. Mm-hmm. And that's the way it is with most of the Saudi cards. They're just not that interesting to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I just can't get into this. I don't know if I'm gonna watch or not. Maybe if I'm bored and I don't have anything else to
I'll
do.
watch it. I always do. And I should be ashamed of myself because I'll be watching this abomination.
I definitely think a Cody Rhodes Gunther match would be a really good match, right?
Yeah. I mean,
but it doesn't feel like it's like I said, it feels forced. There's just nothing behind it. I don't know.
and that's like I said, that's the way all these Saudi pay-per-views are. It's like In Your House, those In Your House pay-per-views that were so bad back in the day. And, they started like renaming In Your House and giving all these new pay-per-views. But it's like they're trying to make these In Your House pay-per-views mean and matter as much as WrestleMania or the Royal Rumble. And they can't do it because it's bad booking, it's bad writing, it's bad business, it's bad wrestling, and it's just awful all the way around. And I don't know. I really wonder what the viewers of this are going to think about this. Or do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What are your thoughts on this? I know there's a lot of people who do not like the Saudi deal because of the politics behind it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've defended it in the past and thought that, okay, well, maybe this is actually good. that, we're spreading good Western values to other places and, sharing culture and all that. But, what I'm seeing now is the Saudi deal is tainting these pay-per-views. Why don't they just go over there and just have regular matches that are good? Isn't there supposed to be this like thing going on with Cody and Kevin Owens? Why is that not the main event of the pay-per-view? Or I call it a pay-per-view. I'll call it pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's always pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's always a pay-per-view. PLE, whatever. There's a lot of things they could have done with this PLE that they could have done some good booking for and some good writing and some good build-up and lead-up into it, and that wouldn't have been just worthless or meaningless. And why not? I don't know. Why not be creative and if you're going to do something special in Saudi Arabia, why not come up with like a new match type, or why not have something unique to these Saudi PLEs besides a worthless title? That's just what I just don't get. Are you going to tell me that these wrestlers, that whoever wins these belts, are going to actually feel like they've done anything by winning these belts? No, they already are champions. They're world champions. This is not. It's not. You're going to tell me that this means more than the world title, than the WWE Undisputed WWE Championship, the women's world title, the WWE Women's Championship? No, it's not going to mean more than those belts. But they're going to act like they've won something that's greater.
Yeah, that's what's going to be really cringy, is when if whether it's Cody or Gunther, going to be like, oh my God, I won it.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to fake it.
Yeah.
They're going to have to fake it.
Yeah. They don't give a shit about this belt.
No.
You think Cody or Gunther cares about this belt? No.
No. So that's where I'm at with it, Lance.
Another thing I wanted to bring up tonight is Motor City Machine Guns.
Yes.
They won the tag belts on their second appearance.
So, Lance, by your tone, I have a feeling that you don't appreciate that.
No. I appreciate it a lot. It's impressive, I think.
Okay.
It's just, okay, here's my thing. I've known of the Motor City Machine Guns since like 2009, right?
Yeah.
When they were in TNA.
Yeah.
And they were feuding with, at the time, they were Generation Me, the Young Bucks. And that's where I first saw them. This just feels like it's like 10 years too late. Like, why are they just now getting them? They can still go. They're 41 and 42 years old at this point, and they're just now bringing them in. So I'm kind of like, what the fuck? Why is that? But I think they deserve it. They paid their dues just as much as anybody else ever has.
I'm for it for two reasons.
Okay.
Number one, I think I would support just about anybody beating Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
They could have brought two doinks out there and had them win the match, and I would have supported it. Okay? Okay, these guys, it's like 10 years, 15 years too late.
Yeah.
It's also like too quick at the same time.
One thing I'm curious about is how many of the casual WWE fans know who they are before they came in, and they've already put the belts on them.
Enough?
Yeah. Right. I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. It's just that, I was watching it last night, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is only their second show, and they've already won the belts.
Well, the reason why I liked it is, one, they've earned it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They've absolutely earned it.
Two, they're good.
Yeah.
Three, it was something that shocked everybody. It was a surprise, and that's just not something that you see enough in wrestling anymore. I think it was Triple H that made this call to do this. And I think it was a good decision.
Yeah, that's another thing I was going to bring up. If Vince was still in control, I don't think the Motor City Machine Guns would be in there at all. No. I don't think he would have ever brought him in. So not only did he bring him in, but he gave him the belts on the second show.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. You would that stuff you would have never seen before.
No.
But because I think Vince's thing was, I don't care how long you've been wrestling. You've only been wrestling for me for 2 minutes. So it's like you got to pay your dues all over again.
To Vince.
Right, to Vince, right. So, yeah, I like it. It was fun. It also progressed the Bloodline story at the same time.
Yeah.
So, by the way, if you go back to SummerSlam, I was talking about this because when Roman Reigns came back, I speculated that the Usos were going to rejoin him. And it looks like it's happened.
Yeah.
So, it progressed that. I enjoyed watching it. So
Triple H was able to do something that Vince McMahon never could do, which was make Roman Reigns a face.
Right. Yep.
I mean, like,
yeah.
In a matter of weeks.
Yeah.
He wasn't even on television.
Yeah.
And he was turning face.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you watched last night, people are still chanting, we want Roman. We want Roman.
Yeah.
Another thing I liked this week was the little tease of Bron Breakker and Jacob Fatu. Did you
Tell
see
me
that
about
on
that.
Monday?
No, I did not see it.
Okay, so they did the thing where Solo and Jacob bought tickets to Raw, right? So they come down to ringside and they're saying, they're showing their tickets. We got tickets. It was during the main event. It was Jey Uso against Bron Breakker for the IC title, which Bron Breakker won the IC title. I don't know if you saw it or not.
I did not know that.
He won it back, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But there was a lot of interference. They jumped the guardrail, trying to attack Jey. And there was like this standoff between Braun and Jacob Fatu. And everybody was all about it. It got the crowd pretty hot. So if they just wanted to see how the crowd reacted to that, they reacted well to it.
Yeah. I regret. Dang, there's been some really good stuff that I've missed lately. I need to catch up on my wrestling. My gosh.
It was a pretty good. I'm like that would be like how they were doing the Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed.
Yeah,
how they kept doing the backstage fighting and stuff.
Yeah.
It felt like that. Like just these two big, strong guys are just going to tear the place apart. All right, so there's just one other thing that I've been noticing for several weeks, months even. They have booked Dominik Mysterio so weak that I cannot believe him as a wrestler at all. I understand that's the point. He's a heel. He's the coward. I get it. But every single week, Rhea Ripley beats the shit out of him. How am I supposed to believe that he stands a chance against Damian Priest?
But it is the point.
It is the point, but it's like he's not even a wrestler anymore. It's like he's just a manager or something.
Well, he gets to kiss Liv Morgan, so I mean, it makes up for it, doesn't it, Lance?
But when they put him in the match, if they put him in any match, I don't care who it is, I'm like, I can't believe this. I can't believe that he stands a chance against whoever it is.
Well,
when Rhea Ripley's beating the shit out of him every week.
I remember when he fought against his dad at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I was disappointed that he lost a match.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like his dad should have put him over. I know that wasn't Ray's fault.
Yeah.
But I felt like that was, his time to shine, his time to start, with his career.
Right.
I mean, I don't want him to win clean matches necessarily, but I do agree he should be booked stronger.
Yeah, he has been booked extremely weak. Extremely. I've never seen this before. Where a woman is just like beating his ass whenever she wants. I mean, it's
it is Rhea Ripley.
It is Rhea Ripley, but then on the other side of this, I could also look at it as the opposite for Rhea Ripley. She's beating the shit out of a man, so how am I to believe any woman stands a chance against her? You know, Liv Morgan's not going to beat her without cheating. You know, I mean, she is a heel, so I get it, but I don't know. It just, but I mean, the Rhea part doesn't really bother me. It's just,
well,
Dominik, I can't believe anything. I can't believe him in a match.
Here's my thing. If you're going to have combat featuring men and women,
Yeah.
You don't want to go too far in either direction with it, okay? Mm-hmm. So we don't want to have that match that Kana had Asuka, where she just got the crap beat out of her. Mm-hmm. You know that match I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
We don't need to have a match where we're just seeing a woman just getting completely just obliterated by a guy. Mm-hmm. But we also, it just, to me, I have a problem when they show like something like this, where a woman's just beating the hell out of a guy, and the guy doesn't stand a chance.
Right.
Okay, it's not competitive.
Right.
And so, like, I'm going to go way back in time, Lance. I'm going to go way back in time here. The match between Jeff Jarrett and China for the Intercontinental Championship, in which China won the Intercontinental
I remember that. Yeah.
Okay. Even though Jeff Jarrett was out the door, even though he was leaving, it was still a competitive match.
Right.
And in my opinion, that made China look better, even though she struggled to win the match. Mm-hmm. Because it's more than just beating someone up.
Yeah.
It's, can I come back from the bottom?
Yeah.
If I'm, on the verge of losing a match, can I turn this around and still win?
Right.
Okay. It was a match. Mm-hmm. It was a wrestling match. It wasn't a beatdown. It wasn't a squash match or anything like that. It was a wrestling match.
Yeah.
And my thing is, if you're going to have men and women being physical with each other in wrestling, it needs to be done that way.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got mixed feelings about that.
Yeah.
I think having men versus women in wrestling is a controversial topic. Although I would say it's a lot less controversial than other sports, because wrestling's fake.
Right.
But if you're going to do it, it needs to be done right. It's something that needs to be handled well, and it needs to be a competitive match. If you're going to do it, it shouldn't be a beatdown like with Kana.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be Rhea Ripley beating up Dominik Mysterio every week. Mm-hmm. It should be done competitively.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not.
And that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that is one of the things that irked me when I started seeing women interfering in men's matches. Mm-hmm. And it's because that at the time, the WWE had this rule, and I guess it's still there, that men can't hit back.
Yeah.
So, you know that's the rule in the background. Mm-hmm. Okay. When Sherry Martel was interfering in matches, that rule did not exist.
Yeah.
There's a video that you can find of where Sting,
she gets knocked out or something. Yeah. I know what you're talking
Sting's
about.
doing a dive to the outside on the Ric Flair. Ric Flair moves out of the way and pulls Sherry Martel, and she takes this great bump.
Yeah.
Sherry Martel was a awesome woman, okay? Mm-hmm. And she could take a bump as well as any man, mm-hmm. and she got the crap beat out of her sometimes.
Yeah.
And she was such a hated heel that the fans loved it. They cheered for it.
Yeah.
Because they hated her so much. I remember as a kid hating her. I loathed her. She was terrible. So anytime I saw it happen, I'm like, which is awful. It was a different time though. And I just if you haven't seen that video, you need to watch it. Where Sting's diving on the outside, Ric Flair pushes or pulls Sherry Martel into the way. Sting lands on top of Sherry Martel.
Yeah.
And like just obliterates her.
Yeah.
But she takes it like a champion because she is a champion.
Yeah.
You know, Sherry Martel was in the wrong time.
Yeah, wrong era.
For women's wrestling. If she was in today's era, she would definitely be a main eventer in the women's wrestling scene right now. Easily.
Yep.
Easily. She'd be one of the best heels in the business. And to be honest with you, she would be a measuring stick. For women's wrestling.
Yeah.
If she was around right now. And that's why I say she was in the wrong era. She could take bumps as well as any man in her era. And that was not something that women could do back then.
Yeah.
Because there just wasn't as many trained good women's wrestlers. She was an elite women's wrestler at a time where there was hardly any women's wrestlers.
Yeah.
So if you moved her to today, if like she was in today's time, she'd be top of the card. She'd be one of the top heels, and you'd be cheering for every time that she got hit.
Yeah.
Because you would hate her guts.
Yeah.
Because I remember as a kid, I hated her guts.
Yeah.
And you know, now that back then I thought wrestling was real. Now that I know it's not, I'm like, man, she was great.
Yeah.
Because I hated her guts. I mean, anytime she got like, you know, her justice due to her for interfering in matches, I was all about it as a kid, you know?
Yep.
And you would not see that anymore in wrestling. You just wouldn't see that. And you probably shouldn't. You know, what they did with Sherry is from an era that you can't do anymore. But you wouldn't have to, because you could put Sherry in the women's division. But see, that's the thing, though. You could put her in the women's division. You wouldn't have to have her like fighting against men,
right?
You know, taking huge bumps.
She doesn't have other women to fight now.
Yeah. So you know, why are if we have a great women's division, why are we having this crossover in the first place?
I don't know. I mean, in this case, I mean, for the story wise, it makes sense. I mean, he broke her heart, right?
Yeah,
left her for Liv. But it's like literally every week she gets his hand. She gets her hands on him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just something I've noticed for a few months now. He looks so weak that I just can't believe him in any match.
Yeah,
I just can't. The only way he would win is by cheating, by interference, whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up, get it off my chest.
All right, Lance, do you feel better now?
I do. I feel a lot better. All right. So hopefully we'll have no more hurricanes, and we'll be back next week. Yep. Later on.
Thanks.